Hey everybody, it's Charlie and Alyssa from Daily Motor, and we're out here with the 2020 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. Now this is the limited model, which means we've got all the bells and whistles, including, if you look up here, a solar powered roof. So this is supposed to get you at max sun, like we're dealing with right now. This will get you about 0.2 kilowatts or 200 watts of power, fed directly into either the 12 volt or the hybrid battery powering the vehicle. So Alyssa and I are going to go around. We've been spending some time in the car throughout this week. We're just going to talk about some of its merits, some of its shortfalls, and what makes it so great as a hybrid option here in 2020. So what do you think about the looks?
I love this car. I love the way that it looks, and that's honestly one of the first things that you think of, or you see really, when you look at this car. The striking colors, the really cool designs that they had, this amazing looking, what would you call this even? Just like
a character line, like a chrome strip. This
chrome detail goes all the way back here. It curves and goes up and around and then back down. And when you look at it from a distance, it's just a very striking, clean design to the car that really adds character to it.
I agree. It doesn't really look like anything else that's on the market right now.
Right.
Hyundai's doing a good job at kind of taking risks, but also capitalizing on them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, making a family sedan is not exactly a risky move. It's pretty standard fare, but doing such cool things with its looks.
Right. And it is a family sedan, and it definitely feels like that and drives like that, but the look of it is so much more aggressive that it really can appeal to the family man in both the way that it looks and what he needs.
I totally agree. Good looks go all the way through the car here. Gonna come on to the back. We see the wheels are a little different on the hybrid model. You see kind of this aerodynamic pattern.
Yeah.
Full aluminum though. In the back, we've got swooping tail light. Looks good. We'll probably go somewhere else and turn the car around so it's not in the sun quite so much. Yep. I kind of like the hybrid font that Hyundai uses. Now on our live drive earlier this week, I showed Alyssa where the hidden trunk button is.
Yeah.
So would you like to demonstrate?
Yes. So
if you take a look, it's not really apparent.
So this is your camera. We have the logo, and then we have Sonata right here. Then we have the light, and you don't see a button anywhere. And that was intentional because right here, right above the H,
bloop,
that's the button. And I love that. I love that it's so sleek and hidden. It's like Hyundai's dirty little secret.
Pretty standard fare trunk. Don't really have any sort of grocery bag holders. No real surprises, no little pockets for anything. Pretty standard. You do get a compact spare tire, so that's good. But no little storage compartments under here either, just kind of a flap.
Yeah, very basic back here.
The seats fold from these little levers. Pull those back, then into the back seat. There you go. Again,
these are very light seats too.
Yeah.
They're not heavy at all, and they probably wouldn't be in a sedan. But yeah, very nice and easy to throw up and down.
Now on the inside, you can see this beautiful interior.
Called tan.
It is. If you look on the window sticker, it just says tan and
it's just tan, yeah.
But there are kind of two different tans in here. You've got your ceiling tan, lighter.
A little more beige-like.
And then the seating upholstery is a little darker, almost peanut butter-esque. A little lighter than that, though.
Yeah, I would say it's more like a caramel kind of thing. Whatever, whatever you're hungry for, really. So we have the middle pull out here for just some simple drink holders and not much else. So we do have, if we move our things, charging port back here.
Yep.
And some very
USB,
simple just
air vents. Yep. Nothing else really, although the comfort's pretty good.
Yes, I would say it's very comfortable. It's very spacious back here.
You're 5'1".
Yeah.
And you've got a good amount of leg room.
Yes.
Good headroom.
This is set for your height.
Yep.
Here.
I've got enough knee room and enough headroom as well. I could be back here. The seats have a decent recline to them.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of neat to see sunshades in a family sedan.
Yes,
you don't typically see that at this price point. You gotta kind of finagle it up. It's not the easiest.
It would be a little bit easier if the little clasps are turned 180 degrees, so you could hook it from the other side.
I agree. Oh yeah, like right here.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
See
but
how those are, if you can tell at all from that.
it works though, and just kind of keeps the sun off your kids or anyone sitting back here. Maybe a little bit of privacy if you don't want to be seen. Nifty to see that in a kind of a standard fare, but other than that, I mean, just no individual reading lights, just standard dome light. Got some speaker grills back here. If you want to see more on the 12-speaker Bose audio system, we've got a dedicated review to that. The link will be in the description. We also have a dedicated highway fuel economy test for this hybrid model where we took it out, did 50 miles out, 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour to see what a real highway speed fuel economy number could be. Didn't quite meet its EPA, but it still did quite well. Okay, to the front.
Yes.
All right. You can see in the handle right there that you almost kind of get a mimic of the outside.
Yes, and I do love how sleek this is. They have the really nice tan on the whole side of the door here with the I guess you could call this a handle, hidden right here. Yeah. And we do have this nice chrome piece that connects to the door latch right there. Very, very sleek.
All right.
Simple design.
Decent sound to the doors. It's pretty solid build. Not exactly luxury build quality, but it's passable. We are in the bright sun right now. Not the best time to be filming an interior, but you can still get a decent idea of the inside. I'll turn the car around. Now that we're in a little bit of shade, you can see the interior a little better. One of my favorite things about the interior of the Sonata is the design of the steering wheel. You've got multiple spokes here, including these sort of 730 and 430 spokes, which allow you to just rest a finger on either side, still use the bottom or your standard 10 and 2 or 9 and 3 positions. Big digital gauge cluster, which if I start the car up, you can see you get this little animation. Actually, if I move the steering wheel closer, you can see it better. You even get a nice little jingle there.
Yeah, I really like that.
Good infotainment display. Hyundai did a good job about kind of blending it into the design of the dash, so it doesn't look like it's an afterthought plopped in.
Or a giant tablet just sitting right in there.
Yeah, but it is still kind of up there a bit. And here the engine just kicked on, kind of make sure everything's good to go for driving. Now it's right back off. Even parked here in the shade, you can see we're still getting a little bit of sun from our solar roof. Probably just a little trickle there. You can see when we pull out into the full sun, that'll immediately hop up to 3/3. It sort of does 3/3, 2/3, 1/3, and nothing for how much charge we're getting. The display is decently responsive. You can go home, bring up your map, you can pinch to zoom with that. Good resolution, looks nice. Got all your standard inputs, you got media and radio. I really do appreciate the HVAC controls in the Sonata. They've got everything's physical. You have your driver, passenger over here, quick adjustments for temperature. And then fan speed is a nice up and down clicker, very intuitive. They also did an up and down clicker for the driver seat, or both driver and passenger seat heat. You go up for heat and down for cooling. Just a very nifty, intuitive way to use it. I mean, you got right in the car and we're just able to click right away and just kind of understand where everything is. Very straightforward.
It was very nice, and we've been in a lot of cars, and some of them just, they overcomplicate the system, and it's just very frustrating, especially when it's a very hot day or a very cold day, and you've just been outside, and you just want to get in that car and get the seat heat on or the seat cooling on and get everything situated and be comfortable.
Yep. You've got wireless device charging, which is nice, as well as a few USB-A ports up there and a 12-volt outlet. I think you also have, do you have any? Well, nope, no outlets in the center console.
Oh, but the center console actually is big enough to hold an entire 32-ounce water bottle.
Yeah, so that's pretty decent size.
Yeah, it just kind of goes in there. We have it facing this way so it doesn't rattle around while we're driving.
There's a lot of space taken up by the shifter, even though it's not any sort of like grab shifter, it's just these buttons. They could have made them a little smaller, maybe built them into the dash and allowed for even more storage space here. Still pretty intuitive though, drive, neutral, reverse, and park.
Yeah. I like that they're just big old buttons that are right there.
Yep.
Very easy to use.
I agree. All right, let's get out on the road.
All right.
Off we go. One thing both Alyssa and I noticed driving the Sonata is just how easy and approachable it is. I think this was your first conventional hybrid you'd ever driven.
Yes.
And there's nothing you need to know. I mean, you just put it in gear and go.
It was beautiful. And having these big buttons for all the different gears, it's just very easy. You just press it, you're good to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with the 2-liter engine as well as the hybrid system, you get a combined 192 horsepower funneled to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And it creates a pretty standard fare, easy enough driving experience. The braking feels pretty good. They do a good balance of the regenerative braking and normal braking. So you've got, I can see this here. This little gauge on the right shows you how much power you're using if you lean into the throttle more. And then if you get on the brakes, shows you doing a little bit of charge. As you lean on the brakes more, you get more charge. And then once that maxes out, that's you just using the physical brakes. Okay, so the regenerative brake is your electric braking power. Yep. That is really cool. So if you want to maximize how much energy you're putting back into the batteries, you kind of lean on the brakes just until that charge meter is full, about right there. And then all of our kinetic energy right now is being converted back into chemical potential energy, putting in the batteries. That is very cool. Speaking of the battery, we have full battery power with this beautiful sun that we're getting right now. Yep. Yep, the solar roof is maxing out right now, and it's only going to give you, Hyundai predicts about a mile. Say you were to drive for an entire hour in full sunlight, you'd get about 1 extra mile of battery power using the solar roof. So it's not a ton, because I mean, obviously you cover maybe 60 miles over an hour. It depends on what sort of driving you're doing though. If you're in stop and go traffic in LA or something like that in the beating sun, then you might only travel a few miles in that hour, and you might have gotten 50% of your charge there from the sun. So that's kind of neat. Yeah. But here out in the Midwest, where maybe throughout the summer we've got a good amount of sun, but in the fall, winter, spring, we might be 50-50. Right. And we're commuting further distances as well. Yep. Yep. So you're really not going to see a huge advantage. It's not full gimmick, and it's still cool that they're doing it. But if you really want to maximize your efficiency with the Hyundai hybrid, what you actually do is buy the base model, the blue. That only costs $26,000 versus the $36,000 for this one, and it actually gets better MPG. The EPA ratings for this car are 45 city, 51 highway, 47 combined. The base model, the blue version, is I think 51 combined, maybe like 50 city, 54 highway, something like that. Yep. But this powertrain still has plenty of get up and go. Floor it there. It takes a second to downshift, but it pulls away nicely. We'll do a little 60-0 braking test. Ooh. Good enough. Man. We'll shift into sport mode for 0 to 60. Let's see. It won't light your pants on fire, but the electricity gives you enough torquiness to kind of feel peppy around town. Okay. And, I mean, do you really need to be lighting 0 to 60 times in your hybrid? I don't think so. Let's see how it takes this 90-degree corner. Fine. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. It's a heavy car. Hybrids always have a little extra heft because of their big old batteries, but it carries its weight fine. Okay. You do have paddle shifters, so you can shift by yourself if you'd like. And that's its manual mode then? That was in automatic mode, but yes, you can do the manual mode with the paddle shifters. Okay. Yep. That's actually really cool. We're seeing that in a lot of other cars as well, right? Yeah, most new cars do have paddle shifters. Right. I mean, I think they're silly in some vehicles. This one I can take it or leave them. rarely would ever use them.
So how do paddle shifters manual mode work when you have a hybrid?
Well, there's still, you've got your standard transmission that in a standard gas car is just hooked up to the engine. In this case, it's the battery, the electric motor, and the engine are hooked up to the transmission. So I don't know for sure how it's set up in this car, but that's one way it could work. And so it's still sort of translating both power sources and optimizing them with the transmission.
All right.
This Grand Caravan is probably a no rush. That's fine, we'll put it back into eco mode, get up to highway speed. For the price point, the ride and sound inside the, or I should say noise level inside the Sonata is pretty good.
I think it's really nice, very comfortable, yeah.
I think the extra weight of the battery settles the suspension down nicely. Let's get up to 70. This is a particularly loud section of highway, but it'll still give you kind of a general idea. Set the cruise control. The Sonata does have an active steering mode, so if you show here, this little button enables it, and as we come up to these lines in the highway, you can see the car kind of will drive itself.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I'm not gonna kind of have my hands here just monitoring, because you can see it's struggling a bit, but this is a pretty sharp corner and it's handling it its own.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh.
Hyundai does a pretty good job with their autonomous modes.
That's amazing. Yeah. Let's see how it does when these lines are kind of faded. And
made it.
Wow.
Fun fact, in the Lexus IS prototype we had, it completely jerked itself to the right on that section. So this section of road, pretty beat up, but yet it's handling it really well.
It really does. These tires are really nice. They seem to be a good size for handling.
Yeah, there's a good amount of sidewall on there. You're not dealing with stupid little rubber band tires.
Right.
Yeah. One thing that is kind of strange about the adaptive steering is even when you shut the cruise control off, the adaptive steering mode stays on. So you'll be driving around thinking you disabled it, and all of a sudden you'll kind of feel the car pulling, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And you realize you gotta press that separately from the cruise control to turn it off.
Okay, so it is a 2-button step there.
Yep. Both of these are 2 different systems. Smart cruise control, adaptive, and then the smart steering, or whatever their word is for it.
Okay.
Yep. A big bump coming up here. Let's see how the Sonata handles it. Really not too bad.
No, but the camera just jumped up, so.
Now while we have this cloud overhead, it's a good opportunity to show you one of the coolest features that Hyundai has been putting in its vehicles. These little blind spot monitors built into the gauge cluster.
Ooh, yeah.
You turn your right blinker on, and this screen goes into this little camera. And if Alyssa pokes her hand out there, you can actually see it. So that shows you as you're driving down the highway or whatever road, if you're gonna merge right, if there's anyone in your blind spot there, and it does it on the left side as well. So typically this is just your speed, turn the blinker on, and then you can see the little digital speed up top and your camera on the left. Other gauges, you've got fuel right there, which I have not had this car go below full yet, even though we've been driving it around in multiple videos. Wow. It's still full. The center display screen, you can cycle through. You've got just pretty standard driving info, fuel economy, power, that sort of deal. All right, you wanna get behind the wheel?
Yes.
Fortunately, the Sonata does have 2 driver seat memory settings. So mine is set for number 1. I don't know if Alyssa saved hers from the other day.
I did not.
So you can go ahead and set it. Off we go with Alyssa. Oh, I just shut it off.
I just turned it off.
It's the problem with hybrids. Back we are.
Okay. Now is it in my... Cool. I was actually a little bit further. Okay. Maybe I did that. Very nice. And I love that sound. If you listen really quietly, you can hear
the
fact, electricness of the car.
You can hear it more so from the outside. I'll have Alyssa drive a little bit forward and then a little bit backward. You'll hear the sounds it makes. So it makes that beeping. Since it's a silent hybrid, Hyundai wants people to be able to hear that the car's backing up. you're not a huge fan of that beeping.
I'm not.
It sounds like a utility van.
It's something I could totally get used to if I really love this car, and it's pretty darn close. I think it sounds like one of those big old utility vans or trucks that always have that really super obnoxious beeping sound whenever they're backing up. This kind of has that feel, although you can tell Hyundai's engineers recognize that it would sound like that, so they made it a little bit more of a jingle and a nicer,
a little less beepy
sound and a little less obnoxious.
Yep.
So
you can see, even as Alyssa's pulling forward, the camera is showing the front. You got this beautiful 360-degree camera in the Sonata. And so if you're coming up to a curb or getting out of your driveway or parking lot or whatever, you could sort of see if you're about to hit anything with the camera. And as she gets going faster, it'll go away on its own.
I do want to show how easy the steering wheel just goes. Look at this. That's so very nice. Just palming it right here. Just let's use one finger the whole way around.
And then as you get going faster,
so
it'll actually build up resistance so that it feels good at any speed.
Right. This car does have a light-up display.
Oh yeah, it does have a head-up display.
Yes, a head-up display, and I love that it shows the actual speed limit as well. And as we're passing that sign, you guys might not be able to see it, or you'll see like a tiny little white light. That's what it is. Yep.
While Alyssa's driving, it gives an opportunity for me to show some of the other interior features. I get my phone out and show you Android Auto, which I was a bit disappointed. Android Auto has a new widescreen mode, but it doesn't work even though this is a wide screen. So if I go home, once this comes up, Android Auto, you can see it shows whatever you have Android Auto displayed on the left there. But then on the right, it just kind of has this blank area that says Android Auto. You can bring that side screen up and then you've got your split screen. But with other widescreen displays, it'll actually show your kind of standard Android Auto stuff and then an Android Auto status screen here. So it's a bit of a bummer that Hyundai wasn't able to take advantage of that.
So right now, I actually have my cooled seat on, and it is fierce. It is very, this is the one setting, and it is incredibly, incredibly fierce right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I might turn it off in a second because it just feels so ridiculously cooling. And it's right here on the back of my thighs here, and on the back, so it's on both parts of the seat.
Another thing I'd like to demo is, we go exit Android Auto. You have Sounds of Nature, which is Hyundai's most recent gimmick. You go up and turn up these silly little natural sounds.
I guess, you know, if you live in a big city and you are commuting an hour to your job and you're sitting in traffic, this might be something that you'd want to experience.
That is true. How about your calm sea waves?
I can see that as well.
Or if you really wanted to encourage somebody to have to pee, you've got Rainy Day.
Yeah, that one's torturous. I don't understand.
On top of Rainy Day, you've got Open Air Cafe. So someone, Hyundai, just stood in a cafe with a microphone.
This one would just give me a headache.
Yeah, you're right. The clanging of silverware and everything. I do kind of appreciate warm fireplace. You can turn the heat up. Going through a snowstorm or something would feel nice. And last but not least, Snowy Village.
I don't understand why. Man, it's so cool.
They're kind of goofy, but it's fun to play with those.
Yeah.
So the Sonata Hybrid's a go for you, eh?
I seriously love this car. It is so easy to drive. It's user friendly. It's not overcomplicated here. It's very, very nice. The controls are very easy. The driving aspect of it is just, you can get in and go without ever having driven it before, and you will feel like you've owned this car for years. I feel like that driving it now. I feel incredibly comfortable with it. I honestly feel like Hyundai's engineers have really hit the mark with this one. It's a great price point, very easy, very entry level. It's a hybrid. It's got that solar panel on the top there. There's a lot of things that are very neat about this car. It's striking on the outside. It's seriously just, it's a win-win for me. I don't see anything that's a loss.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hyundai did a really good job. I think the price is right. I would definitely buy the hybrid over the standard Sonata. The standard Sonata is definitely good, but you can get the hybrid for really not much more. I'd get an SEL, keep it under 30 grand. Mm-hmm. I'd kind of miss out on having the hybrid roof, or the solar power roof, but so be it. It's not gonna really affect my daily efficiency scores. And yeah, the only downside, I guess, is that the practicality of sedans is kind of waning. Yeah. But the fact that this one gets nearly 50 miles to the gallon in a lot of driving situations, that sort of helps make the argument for a nice, sleek sedan.
Right.
Take a little peek at the 2-liter naturally aspirated motor right there, HEV, hybrid electric vehicle. This is kind of strange. It takes 0W16 oil weight. Very odd oil weight there, specifically engineered for these hybrid motors. All right, no big surprises other than that. The hybrid battery section.
Right, yeah, that looks very neat.
So, great job as to be expected from Hyundai.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see more of their cool products coming up. I know in a few months we're going to be driving the new Elantra, the new Tucson. Hyundai's been killing it lately, and we like to see that happening.
All right.
Yeah.
Are those both hybrid too?
They do have a hybrid Elantra version, but I don't think the Tucson's coming out right away with a hybrid version. Yep. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the Sonata, check out the links in the description for our fuel economy test and our Bose audio system test. Thanks to Alyssa for helping out with the review, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.